Alright guys, so today I'm going to show you how you can get sales calls booked for free even when you're using paid advertising. And this works extremely well if you are an online coach, an online expert, even like an online service provider, but mostly like online coaches. If you have a high ticket coaching program, obviously your main concern is most likely how can you get more calls booked, but not more importantly, how can you get calls booked profitably? Well, this is one of the best ways to do it, where we can actually get you calls booked for free, even using paid ads. Now, let me break it down. I'm going to show you what most people currently do, the numbers behind why it might not work. Then I'll show you the new way or a different way to get calls booked with paid advertising and actually show you a real life example. So this is kind of like typically what most people do, right? And if you're running ads right now to a high ticket coaching offer, this isn't going to be anything new to you. So typically, it'd be good if I put the marker on. So right now, pretty much what most people do in this industry, they'll run an ad, whether that be on Facebook to YouTube. They'll go to a landing page where they'll ask them to opt in with the email address. Then they'll send them to a VSL video, which is basically just a sales video. Usually lasts around 10 to 30 minutes. And at the end of that video, they will ask them to get on a phone call. And that's where they will get on the call with them and they will close them for the online coaching program. And this still works pretty well. If you're like a brand new beginner, it can be pretty hard to get this up and running, but this is probably one of the easiest funnels to make work because you can sell a high ticket service. Most people will be selling for minimum $3,000 on this phone call. So you can see that even if you spend $1,000, $2,000 on ads, all you need is one sale to be profitable, which is why it works so well. Now, typically what people will do is, let's just say, and I'll use some round numbers here, but they'll spend, say, maybe like $1,000 in ads. And for this to be profitable, what you want is for your cost per call. So how many calls do we get for this? What's the cost per call? Usually, if you know what you're doing, you can get calls booked for around $100 to $200. Now, depending on the niche and the industry and how competitive it is, some industries might be cheaper, some might be more expensive. For example, we've got a couple of clients right now, and one of them is getting consistent calls booked. They're getting like 2 to 3 calls booked a day, and they're getting them calls booked for $50, right? So that funnel is obviously super profitable. Not every niche or industry can be like that. But if you're getting calls booked for around 100 to 200, you should be okay, because if you spend $1,000 and you're getting calls booked for $100, you will get 10 calls booked. Very likely that you can close 1 out of the 10, which means you spend $1,000, you get $3,000 back. That is kind of like the economics behind this type of funnel. You know, even if you spend $1,000 and it's 200 cost per call, you get 5 people on the phone. You know, you still should be aiming really to close 1 in 5, so then you'd still be profitable. Or even say, you know, you have to spend $2,000, you get 10 calls for 200 cost per call each. You still close 1 in 10, you've spent $2,000, you've got $3,000 back. So that's how you basically be profitable. But not everyone can get this working right out the gate, and it doesn't work for everyone. Not everyone can get this type of funnel to work because very easily, you know, if you don't know what you're doing, this cost per call can creep up. And once it starts to get to like $250, $300 cost per call, $400 cost per call, that's when the economics can break down. Because if you're only getting calls booked for 400 and you can only close 1 in 10, then, you know, you have to spend $4,000 to make a sale. And if you're only selling a $3,000 program, then obviously that's not going to be profitable. You can raise your prices and lots of different stuff, but you guys get the point. This is like typically what happens. But if this isn't working for you, this type of funnel, then there is actually a different way on how to actually get calls booked for free, because there's a lot of risk in this, right? You can spend $1,000, $2,000 hoping that you're going to get a $3,000 sale soon, but what if it doesn't come? Then you're going to be out £3,000 or $3,000. So I'm going to show you a way now to get calls booked for free. So this is what we can do. You can run an ad still, so it's still using paid traffic, YouTube or Facebook, but instead of sending them to like an opt-in page in a VSL, we just send them to a low ticket offer. So what is a low ticket offer? A low ticket offer is typically like an online course, and you sell it for $21, $27, $49, $50. That's usually around the sweet point. Some people sell it for a tiny bit more expensive, but generally $21 to $50 is kind of the sweet spot to sell this course. And then what happens is the people who actually buy this course, you basically offer them the opportunity to get on a call. And I'll show you in a second here the best way in order to actually do this, because a lot of people do it wrong. There's a few different ways that are the right and the best way to get the most amount of people on the phone, which means you'll be getting these calls booked for free. And I'll explain the economics behind that. So the idea is behind this is that you can spend $1,000 again on ads, and instead of spending $1,000 and generating leads who opt in with their email and then hoping they book a call, you're sending them directly to a sales page, right? Where they have to buy. They don't opt in with their email address here, they buy the course. So the idea is if you can spend $1,000 and you can make $1,000 back in sales on the front end, so you can break even. Now on the face of it, that's not very profitable, right? You spent $1,000 and you've made $1,000 back, so you've not made any money. And that's where most people think, oh, low ticket courses don't work because you can't make money. About 5-10 years ago, you could actually run ads on Facebook to a low ticket offer for $50, and you could actually be profitable. You could actually make money. You could spend $1,000 and make $2,000 back. But as ad cost has increased, it's very hard to make this super profitable at scale. So most people can break even or lose a bit of money. And now most people say that this type of funnel doesn't work. But it can be profitable because you spend $1,000, say you can make $1,000 back, then you go to your buyers and get them on a phone call, right? So say for example, this is $50 and you spend, let's just break it down even easier. So you spend $500 and you sell a $50 product. Let's just say, for example, you get 10 buyers, right? So you spent $500, you've got 10 sales at $50 each. That means you've made $500 back, you've broke even. That means you can get 10 people on a call. You get them on a call, you close 1 in 10, and let's just say, for example, you've got that 3K product that we mentioned earlier, you can make $3,000 in profit. So before, where we were spending $1,000, $2,000, hoping that we can close them over the phone to be profitable, here we can spend $1,000 and we can instantly know whether we're breaking even or making money because we are sending them directly to the sales page, so we instantly know whether this is going to be profitable. And then you get the calls for free essentially, and you close 1 in 10 and you make the 3K. So that's like the best way to do it. Now, even if, say for example, you couldn't break even on this front end and it took you $1,000 to make 10 sales. That means you've spent $1,000, you've made 10 sales, which is $500, which means you've actually lost $500. But you still got the 10 customers and you can still get 10 people on the call. So that means your cost per call in this scenario is actually $50, which is super cheap. And it's a lot cheaper than the industry average. Industry average isn't 100. This is if you know what you're doing, you can get calls booked for 100 and you can be profitable. For someone who is just doing it by themselves, then the industry average is probably like $200, $300, $400, $500. But here, even if we lose money on the front end for 500, even if we're not very good and we lose money with this low ticket offer, then we still essentially, if we spent 500 to get 10 customers and we get those 10 customers on the call, then we're getting a cost per call is 50. So you could be super unprofitable on this front end funnel with this low ticket offer, but still be getting cheaper calls booked than if you were to do it the old way. And that's why this could actually be really lucrative for you. And then not only that as well, is that all of these people who are getting on the phone have already bought from you. They've already spent $50 with you. So they're much more likely to spend $3K with you if they've already trusted you enough to buy from you before. Obviously, you've got to make sure that this $50 product that they bought is good, right? It can't be a crappy product, otherwise they're not going to trust you. If they don't like the $50 product, they aren't going to pay you for the $3K product, right? But if it's a good product and they've already bought from you before, they're more likely to buy the $3K off you than someone who has just opted in for free with their email address and booked a call. So not only can you get these calls booked for cheaper, or in a lot of cases you can get them booked for free, but they should be with more qualified people because they are already your buyers. So it's pretty cool. Now, there's a few things that you were probably asking right now. One of them is, well, how do you actually get them on this phone call after they buy from you? And this is like the best way I've seen it done. So what you don't want to do is just when they buy, start sending them emails saying, hey, I've got this $3K product. What you don't want to do is just start sending them emails saying like, hey, I've got this $3K product, book in a call, right? You don't want to start like emailing everyone who bought your product and be like, hey, I've got another service for you. I've got another coaching program for you. Book a call. Like, you don't want to start selling them on a high ticket product because that's not the frame. That's not going to get 10 out of 10 people to jump on the phone with you because they're going to know it's a sales call and it will put some of them off. Maybe 1 or 2 out of 10 would book the call. But what a lot of them are going to do is going to say, well, I've just spent $50 with this person. I'm going to wait until I consume all of the content before I book in this call, right? I'm going to consume all of the course content before I decide if I want to get on another sales call or not, right? So they're going to delay the decision to get on the phone, which is going to delay the profitability from the funnel. Plus, not all 10 out of 10 people are going to want to jump on a sales call. So that's not the best way to do it. And that's the biggest mistake people make when they do this is, hey, they are going to sell a low ticket product and then they are going to sell a phone call to buy the higher ticket product. That's not the best way. The best way to do this is to actually make this call part of the product. You actually make it part of the offer. And there's a couple of ways that you can do this. The first way is, and you guys will probably know like the Russell Brunson, like you need to stack your offer. So like typically for a low ticket course like this, you'll have like a course and then you'll have the bonuses, right? And the bonuses can be like cheat sheets, maps, softwares, whatever it is, right? The bonuses make the course more valuable. But one of the bonuses that you can do is a coaching call. So you can say that every single person who purchases this low ticket course gets a free complimentary coaching call with myself. I usually charge $5,000 for these calls, blah, blah, blah. You can put whatever frame you want in it, but you add the coaching call into the offer. Why does this work so well? It's because people have paid $50 for this product, so they are going to make sure that they get the full value for the $50, and therefore they are going to show up for the call. If you just frame it as after they've purchased, be like, hey, I've got this 3K product, do you want to jump on the phone with me? They're not going to do it. But if you say, hey, as part of the $50 purchase you just made, you get a complimentary coaching call, book in a time here, then 10 out of 10 people are going to book in that complimentary coaching call. So that's a real great way of doing it. The only potential issue with this one, right, and I'm getting very messy here with this board, but the only potential issue with this frame is that if it's a coaching call, they might say, you know what, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to book in my coaching call until I have consumed this $50 product. Because if I only get one coaching call, then if I book in straight away, I might not ask the right questions. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wait, I'm going to consume all of the course, and once I've gone through all of the course, I'm going to then book in my coaching call, because then I'm going to have the right questions to ask, which is fair enough, right? They want to get the most value out of the call, so they're going to wait until they've consumed the content, and then they're going to have the questions that they want answered. Now, the only problem with this is if 100% of people finish the course when they bought it, this would be fine. But the issue is most people who buy low ticket courses don't consume the content. You know, they get busy, they forget about it, and they never actually go through it all. And therefore, they're not going to end up booking this coaching call because they're not going to consume the content. Or even if they do consume the content, depending on the length of the course, it could take them 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Which means that if you want to be profitable with this funnel, you've got to spend 1,000. Okay, you could break even, or you could lose a bit of money, but you've got to wait 5 weeks for them to actually get on the call with you and then be profitable. So you're delaying the cash flow for the business, which isn't what we want. We want to make sure that we are profitable as quickly as possible. So this is the best way to actually do this. The best way that we found to frame this is not as a coaching call, but we call it a onboarding call or a orientation call, right? So it's an onboarding call or it's an orientation call for this low ticket offer. So it's framed as, hey, congratulations for, like, as part of this offer, you get a free onboarding call with one of our experts or with myself, depending on your business, right? And the frame is, hey, look, before you start going through the course content, make sure you book in your onboarding call or your orientation call to make sure that you get the most out of the course. And what happens is before they even start consuming the content, they have already booked in the call. And that means that they're going to pretty much book in their onboarding call or the sales call from day one, which is going to increase the speed in which you can be profitable because they're booking in the call straight away. You're getting on the phone with them, you're speaking to them, and then you can obviously offer them to essentially upgrade to your high ticket program. So this is an example of what it actually looks like. So this is just like an old sales page we did for the company. You can see here, right, it's a long form sales page and it's selling a 21-day challenge, which is like $21, right? So this is what it is. See here, what you can see though is as part of the bonuses, which is literally just what I said, right? We've got tech support, we've got templates, and then we've got a complimentary one-on-one onboarding call. Get personal one-on-one support, right? And we'll hop on a free call with us to kick off your 21-day training, learn how to get results as quickly as possible, give you clarity and direction, full confidence in your ability to execute and get results from this product, right? So we're framing it as it's super important for their future success to actually get on this call with us. And we have that in the bonus section. And then what we also do is after they go through and purchase from this funnel, when we say, hey, congratulations, you've purchased, we obviously give them the login details to access the training, but then we also make sure that they book in the one-on-one orientation call. So as soon as they purchase, the whole goal is to get them on the call. Yes, we want them to log in. Yes, we want them to consume the content, but we want them to book in that call because they're never going to be more motivated to get on the phone with you than right after they buy, right? They've just bought, they're excited. They've just bought this program that's going to change their life. So they've never been more excited. So therefore, this is the point where we need to get them on the call. Otherwise, they might forget about it and then you've basically lost a customer. For this flow to work, you need to get as many of these buyers on the phone as quickly as possible. That's the whole purpose of this, right? So on your confirmation page, don't wait for them to, go into the members area, give them the opportunity straight after they've purchased there and then to book in their call. And then obviously inside the membership area, you will have different buttons and options where they can actually book in for you as well. So like you can have an option inside the membership area next to the course content being like, hey, make sure you book the call. In the welcome video inside the membership area, again, tell them to go ahead and book in the one-on-one call. And then you can also have an email sequence as well, that after someone's purchased the course, you send them like 2 to 3 to 4 follow-ups to be like, hey, make sure you've booked in your orientation call before you actually start the course. So that's it. That's the best way to do it. If you want to get calls booked for free, come up with a low ticket offer. Try as best as you can to break even on the front end. And then if you can master this, breaking even on the front end, then just implement what I've just taught you there with the onboarding/orientation call, and you will literally get calls for your high ticket coaching program for free, right? So that's the way you do it. That's a really cool way. Again, the way still works. We actually run this funnel for a lot of our clients, but we've actually found that this is a super cool way to get calls booked for free while still running paid advertising.